Hi, I'm Doug Hagerman. I'm one of the instructors here at the Manitou Art Center. This is the Wayne Lambert Memorial Photographic Studio. It's a darkroom where you can do photographic processing. This short video will show you the safety features and rules that we have in place to prevent accidents in the darkroom. The first thing you need to know is that if anything goes wrong, if there's any kind of a problem, a chemical spill, somebody breaks some glass, somebody doesn't feel well, any kind of a problem, call 911. That's the most important thing to do, is call 911. Now hopefully you won't have an incident where you have to call 911 related to a chemical spill, but if you do, you need to know that the chemicals used in elementary photography are all described in material safety data sheets. The MSDS is the information that the 911 dispatcher might need to know in order to be able to respond to the call. So in this lab, we have the MSDS information for each one of the chemicals, all contained in this blue notebook up here on the shelf. So you just need to know where that is. You might want to look at that information yourself, just out of curiosity. We also have a first aid kit up here in case you need that. Hopefully you won't need that either. Now the chemicals that we use in elementary photography are really not very dangerous. Obviously you don't want to drink them. Some of them are pretty smelly. You don't want to splash them in your eyes, so you could wear safety glasses. You don't really want to get them on your clothes. They can stain or leave deposits on your clothes. You could wear an apron. Usually it's not recommended to wear open-toed shoes or sandals because they could spill on your feet. That's up to you to decide that. Some people develop contact dermatitis, which is an irritation of the hand. Some people's fingernails tend to stain if they get prolonged exposure to the chemicals. Now, first off, you're not really supposed to be dunking your hands in the chemicals. There are tongs. You don't need to dunk your hands in the chemicals, but you might get a splash on them once in a while. So if that's a concern, if you feel like you have sensitive skin, we have some vinyl gloves up there that you can use to protect your hands, or you can bring your own gloves if you want to. Other than that, the other big concern has to do with electricity and water. And let me see if I can point the camera up in the right direction here. So if you look up here, you will see that there's an electric clock and it's right over a bucket of water in the sink. So you don't want to mix electricity and water together. So let me just show you a trick on this clock. What you can do is you can push this top lever here over one notch like that, and the clock will run now for an hour. And so that gives you an hour's worth of timing of your developing processes. So that's important. The other possibility is that you could potentially end up using some glassware. Most of the flasks and beakers and containers that we have are plastic. There are a few glass ones. You need to be careful not to break any glass. Don't break the glassware. The other concern is that when you're in a dark room, you might be surprised at how dark it is. So what that means is that you can't see your feet. In particular, you can't see where you're walking. So if somebody leaves a backpack on the floor, then you might trip over the backpack. So the best thing to do is to leave your backpack, either leave it in your car or you can leave it in the conference room. Just don't leave it on the floor where somebody might trip over it. So that's the basic information related to safety in the lab. Obviously no horseplay, be serious and adult about things. So now it's time for the quiz. The quiz question, it's a one question quiz. Question is, what's the most important safety information that you need to know in the lab? The answer is call 911 if something goes wrong. All right, have a good time.